Skin the Hardaway 7T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. We here for a good time, not a long time. Let me make sure I got everything right. Okay, I got everything going. Appreciate y'all folks trying to do this thing. Again, we here for a good time, not a long time. I ain't go hold up too much of y'all time. You know what I mean? This morning, just want to come drop this little tad bit on y'all. We gonna come for our longer boxing conversation, right? A little later on today, about 1:30, 2:30. But right now, I just want to come, drop this little tidbit on y'all, hit y'all with this, news that I think, right? Some interesting news to me now. Tank Davis got a fight coming up, right, in a couple days, in 2 days. So all this could be promo, right? But I'm noticing a pattern with Tank Davis. Now the thing with Tank Davis is people were saying for the longest, Tank Davis should talk more. Tank Davis should talk more. Tank Davis should be a little more vocal, right? And I was one of those people, right? Saying Tank probably should talk more. I don't know what's up with YouTube, bro. YouTube been with the shits, but it is what it is. They ain't gonna stop no show. But anyway, I digress, right? So, ever since Tank, signed the fight, Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia, I guess he's been doing what you call a press run, right? Now the press run started on the Rise podcast, which has came out to be Tank's, pretty much Tank's personal podcast. Whenever you see Tank talking on the media, right, it's normally on, the Rise pod. When you see Tank talking on YouTube, right, it's normally on the Rise podcast. Now, before the Rise podcast, before that Rise podcast interview with Gervonta Tank Davis, I knew the history with him and Devin Haney. I knew that, everything wasn't just, all peaches and cream with Tank and Devin, right? That I knew. I knew Tank and Devin wasn't all just peaches and cream, right? But before that, right, just from their relationship over the years, from seeing how they interact with each other, from seeing them, talk to each other. Shakur has been to Tank fights. Tank has been to Shakur fights, right? I chose this picture right here, right? This picture of them when they were younger, just to kind of put, some substance, right, as to how long these guys have really been knowing one another. Now, Tank had some interesting words to say about Shakur on the Rise podcast, right? Kind of, if you're asking me, I think that it was kind of disrespectful, especially with the relationship that these two guys have. Now, suddenly you gonna say, "What is boxing? They don't got to be friends." No, they don't. But what I'm saying is these two guys were actually friends at first until, it looks like Tank Davis had to change of heart at some point. At some point, Tank Davis had to change of heart. You know what I mean? At some point. But Shakur was also under the understanding, right, that, those two, were friends. As you can see from, the picture I have up right now. What's good, Jess? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, baby. Glad you can make it. Let me drop the flames for y'all. TWT, what's good, Phils? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. TWT in the building. My baby Jazz, what's good, baby? Appreciate you sliding through. Right, but I digress. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all jab that like button for your boy, right? So, just like Shakur, right before Tank had the Rise podcast interview, I thought that Tank Davis and Shakur had a good, rapport. Now, that doesn't mean that they not go fight, because you can fight your friends, right? And that doesn't mean that I'm saying, Southern T saying they got to be friends. No, I'm not saying they got to be friends, but they were actually friends, right? And then Tank had something to say on the Rise podcast. Tank offered up. He offered up. Blue Blood Sports TV came up there, right? And Blue Blood Sports said, "I think Devin Haney beats you." And Tank took that time to go in on Devin Haney, which I understand, right? Him and Devin Haney do have a bit of, bad blood there. There is a bit of bad blood there. Not like no street type shit, bad blood, but there is, what's good, Kirk? But there is a bit of bad blood there between Devin and Tank. It always been, right? But what I'm here to talk about now is since when did Tank have all of this hostile energy for Shakur Stevenson? Because, I thought Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, were friends. I seen Shakur at Tank Davis's rolling fight. I seen Tank Davis at Shakur fights, right? I've seen pictures of them sparring and training together throughout the years. You know what I mean? Just like this picture I got up here now. These guys look extremely young in that picture, right? This because they are. From my understanding, these two had a good working relationship. But since Tank Davis has left Floyd Mayweather, right? Tank Davis had got really quiet for a second. He came out, he signed the fight, and then right after he signed his fight, he got extremely vocal for a second. Now, people had a problem when Devin Haney did something like this, but of course, this is Tank Davis, and y'all know everybody give Tank Davis special treatment, right? But I just want to bring light to something real quick. You know, these two guys had a great working relationship, right, before that Rise podcast. Blue Blood came on the Rise podcast, right, and Blue Blood made a statement, said Devin Haney would beat Tank. Tank then went on to say, you know, Devin Haney can't beat shit. He stopped Tank and sparring. And for whatever reason, right, this is where I'm getting somewhere with this. For whatever reason, he decided to say that he stopped Shakur as well. He decided to say, I stopped Shakur, right, as well. Now, of course, you know, Devin and Tank had that back and forth with that. But Shakur came out and said, Tank is lying. Tank ain't stopped shit. You know, all respects to Tank, right? That's what Shakur had to say, and that's where he left it. And Shakur Stevenson was giving his own interview, right? He was giving his own interview, and they asked Shakur Stevenson about the top guys at 135. And Shakur, he named Devin Haney. He said Devin Haney is the best. He said Gervonta Davis is up there, right? He said he named Frank Martin. He also said that he would, you know, like to fight Frank Martin as well, right? But he named Frank Martin. So even still then, you know, Shakur, you know, didn't have too much bad to say about Tank because they have a long-standing working relationship with one another, right? Or at least Shakur Stevenson thought, and I'm getting somewhere, right? So now in a more recent interview, right, Gervonta Tank Davis is speaking again. And Gervonta Tank Davis has took another opportunity, right, to take a shot at Shakur Stevenson. Now, I know Tank and Devin had no relationship, but Tank and Shakur Stevenson did have some kind of relationship. What I'm trying to figure out right now is where did all this new hate or where did all this new animosity come from for Shakur Stevenson, right? And I'm not even knocking that you have this energy for Shakur, but I want you to prove it. His latest statements, right? At first, he said he knocked out Shakur in sparring. He can't compete with him. And then his latest statement, right? He said Shakur has no power and he hit like a cruiserweight. So I want you to prove it, right? So let me read to y'all off what Tank had to say. Let me read to y'all what Tank had to say. Gervonta Tank Davis, this is what he had to say about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was asked, you know, about how he will fare. What's good, MP? What the fuck? Appreciate you sliding through. MP, what the fuck? It's some bets going on this fight weekend, and the fight start tonight. It's 4 fights tonight that start tonight, right? But I digress. They asked Shakur Stevenson, right, about his chances against the top guys at the 135-pound division. Shakur Stevenson said that, you know, this division is kind of overrated, right? And he feels like that he could, you know, he's the best fighter in this division, right? As he should. You know, the reporter told Tank Davis what Shakur Stevenson, you know what I mean, had to say. And Gervonta Tank, hold on, my bad, y'all. And Gervonta Tank Davis had a rebuttal, right? But unlike Shakur Stevenson, right, Gervonta Tank Davis went directly at Shakur. Shakur never, you know, called, you know, anybody's name. He never put it, you know, on anybody in particular. Okay, MP, just let me know when you do. Just let me know when you do, MP. He never put it on nobody in particular, right? He was talking about the division as a whole. But Gervonta Tank Davis took it upon himself again, right? They asked Gervonta Davis about it. And these reporters be keeping their mess too as well, right? But I digress. So the reporter asked Gervonta Davis about what he thought about Shakur Stevenson's comments. Now, no, Shakur never said any names in particular, right? But this is what Tank Davis had to say. Tank Davis said, why is Shakur talking like he's the best? He hadn't even had a fight at 135 yet. He didn't have power at 126, or he didn't have power at 130. None of that. All that stuff is okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all the boxing, you're going to get hit. What you going to do when you get hit? That's what Tank Davis had to say. What's good, Stay Dangerous? Appreciate you sliding through. My thing is, he said, I ain't going to take away credit. You know what I mean? So he said Tank Davis, he said Shakur Stevenson never had power. You know, he didn't have power at 126, don't got power at 130, and he ain't gonna have power at 135. And then Tank hit like a heavyweight. That was in response to Shakur Stevenson. If all you got is power, then you ain't gonna beat me. Y'all remember Shakur said, if all you got is power, then you not gonna beat me. But the thing is, Shakur Stevenson is not talking to Tank. You know what I mean? He's not talking to Tank. You know what I mean? But Tank Davis has a lot to say about Shakur Stevenson, right, lately, now that he's already signed to fight, you know, Garcia and Garcia. You get what I'm saying? Like, you was just quiet for a long time, for the months leading up until your fight. Before you had a fight, you was quiet. You signed a fight, and now you come out taking shots at people who we thought was your friend. Because you and Shakur clearly had a relationship before that Rise podcast, you know, where you felt the need to throw that man under the bus. Y'all clearly had a good relationship before then, right? And my thing is, I don't care about y'all having a good relationship or not. My thing is, y'all actually did, though. So all you people, well, they don't have to be friends. Now they don't. But what Tank Davis is doing right now, it's some fake shit going on is what I'm pointing out. You know what I mean? It's some, damn, I thought we was cool, but you go over there to the other side of the world and you talk shit about me. You was just in front of me. Right? And we was cool shaking hands. But you go and get in front of an interview, and now you got a lot of shit to say about me. You know what I mean? So I want to see him prove it. You feel like, you know, you knock out Devin. You the one started them stories. You knocked out Devin and Spawn. You knocked out Shakur and Spawn. You know what I mean? Tank telling us all these Spawn stories, what he did in Spawn, right? What you did in Spawn. How about you actually get in the ring with one of these guys? Because right now, I feel like you just clout chasing, trying to sell your fights. Y'all do your boy. I got 11 likes. Y'all smash that like button. I'm finna get out here pretty soon. But y'all hit that like button before I roll up at her. Y'all get your boy right. Because I know y'all not going to be coming back to hit the like button on these. So y'all hit that like button while y'all in here, man. Y'all going to smash that like button. Let YouTube know that we live. But this is what Shakur had to say. He said, I'm not going to take credit away from dude. He a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. I mean, look at him. He fighting pay-per-view, knocking dudes out. That don't take away the fact that I could still beat the dude. This dude knows that he can't beat me. That's what Shakur had to say. You know what I mean? That's what Shakur had to say. But my thing is, like, right, Shakur, like Tank Davis signed this fight. And he been talking real greasy ever since he signed this fight, right? My thing is, Tank, you know, you got 2 fights lined up in front of you. Nobody seems to have a problem with you, you know, freely talking about these guys when you know you have fights lined up in front of you. You know what I mean? Everybody knows you have fights lined up in front of you, but yet people still so comfortable with you, you know, talking shit about guys you're not going to fight. But when it was Devin Haney, he had to fight Lomachenko, people had a problem with it. But people don't got a problem with you actually taking shots at your friend, Shakur Stevenson, right? Somebody you've been knowing, somebody you've been kicking it with, somebody who, you know, y'all been going to each other fights for years on years. Now, all of a sudden, you ain't got no friends in boxing. Well, fight him then. Fight him then, because I want to see it. He ain't got no power. You hit like a cruiserweight. He ain't never had no power. Oh, that's cool. Just make sure you get in the ring and fight him. You say you want to fight Devin or Shakur. Well, goddamn it, you better do it. But that's all I got, man. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. This the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. I'm sick of all these boxers out here doing all this talk, bro. You got a fight coming up. Focus on your fight, bro. Focus on your fight. And what was all this energy for Shakur and Devin when you didn't have a fight? You got all this energy when you about to fight Ryan Garcia. Don't talk shit to the brothers. Don't talk shit to the black guys, right? When you already got a fight lined up. People want to point out this, they want to point out that, but they don't want to point out everything. Let's point out everything. We point out everything in 2023, right? Everybody is calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. Now Gervonta Tank Davis doing this, telling me I already beat that guy. I beat that guy. I knock him out. He ain't good enough to fight me. He don't deserve a fight. Everybody is calling out your name, Tank. You can't keep dismissing everybody, right? Keep fighting Hectors and Ryans. And you said you want to fight 3 times in 2023, right? So that's Hector Garcia, that's Ryan Garcia, and you saying Devin or Shakur. If you really about it, you really about their life, like you talking all this shit. If you really what the people think you are, fight both of them. Fight both of them. If you was really bad at it, you would have fought Ryan Garcia, Shakur, and Devin Haney this year. You know what I mean? It kind of sound like some Anthony Joshua stuff going on here. But I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long, man. I appreciate y'all folks sliding through. Skinny Hardaway, Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. This the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love. A whole bunch of saying other folks' name to promote your fights going on, man. I don't like it. I'm calling spade a spade.